Today is the first episode of a series where we talk with our neighbors, artists, musicians, and inventors, and all kinds of creative people who is around me. And so here we have with us Marc Mennigmann, my neighbor, who is absolutely extraordinary person with lots of talents. And he's a photographer, a musician, and many more. Can we start with the photography and this latest project, right?
Of course, the Hands project.
Where you're photographing people who I personally admire. Like, I don't know how you got opportunity to photograph such stars, really legends of rock and jazz.
It was a process. I was, in the beginning, I was just capturing the people that came to the jazz club nearby. I was living very close to a jazz club in Germany. And so I just went there, asked the people if I could take pictures of them. And one day, T.M. Stevens came there, who is a really famous bass player and singer. And I got the opportunity to do pictures from him, picturing his hands, because that's what he's playing with. That is where his tone comes from. And it just started moving onwards. Got better and better, and the people got more well-known, more famous. And usually the artist gets the concept that it's not about taking just a picture of him, just like... So maybe begin at another angle. My intention was I want to do pictures of musicians because I'm a musician and I'm a photographer and I want to connect these two things. And I don't want to be the person that does the 20,000th picture of a famous musician with his instrument holding like... we don't need these portraits. We have millions of them. And I was looking for something different. And at one point, I just found that the hands are what really transfers the idea which is in the head of the musician to the instrument. So it's the last escape of the idea to become reality. And this concept I just tried to put into a picture. So I isolated the hands from the instrument. I just got the hands without anything else, just a white background. I took pictures of their hands, usually in their playing position. So like a guitar player...
without instrument.
Without the real instrument. So a guitar player would maybe go like this with his hand, because here he's grabbing the neck and here he's holding the pick. So it's like pretending like this. So let's see this camera. So it would look like something like this. Or a bass player goes like this because he usually plays with these fingers, unless he's very skilled and uses all of them. But no, maybe like this. Pianists go like this. And
drummer.
And the drummer goes maybe like this, or if he plays traditional or crossed or whatever, pretending to hold the sticks or the brushes, or like Chester Thompson did it like this, because he usually has this match grip and plays like this, very loose. So there are many different types of personality, of music personality, or already in the pose of their hands. And then you see all the wrinkles, all the little dots, the little scars, and all the little deformations from years of practicing an instrument. And this goes usually along with a shot that I did on stage, where I just photographed the musician performing. So I did not only have the chance to meet all these people, I also had the chance to go in the very, very front row, where usually most of the photographers can't go, and take pictures of them playing on stage. I just did.
You just went there without authorization or...
No. Usually I asked first, and in the beginning I wrote to all the management people, and it's very hard to get through the management, because the management should make the life of the artist on the day of the artist when he's on tour as easy as possible. So they try to keep the calendar clean. They don't want anyone else, any disturbance in there, especially not for a small photographer who is doing just a hobby project. So I had to find ways to blow this up a little in the beginning, while trying to capture all the favorite musicians in jazz history, blah, 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 whatever. And but it worked much better when I really said, I'm a musician, I'm a photographer, and I found this new way of doing a portrait. And I plan to do a book, and I would like to have the person covered. So sometimes the management says yes and arrange something, and then I got some managements that were quite friendly, that really liked the project. So I looked on their roster and just saw, okay, this and that is coming up, and I could especially select, okay, I like this person, I want to go to them. I like this person or that group, I want to visit them, and then I just asked, and usually it was working.
And they would give you accreditation, or you still had to buy a ticket? How was it?
It depends. It depends. So usually when it was a big event, like the big halls with 2, 4, 3,000 people attending, I was usually giving a ticket.
Yeah.
If it was the small clubs, I usually went there. I was there very, very early because usually the shootings happened between the sound check and the concert. So I was there at sound check time, which is usually like 2, 3 in the afternoon. The concert is at 8. So I was very early in. But in the small venues, I love to pay for my tickets because they live from that. And I was attending something special. So I'm really happy to pay for something, which I enjoy. But I was invited quite often.
Did you think to do it from beginning black and white, or you did it in color and then you turned it into black?
My very first shooting I did in color, but I was very quickly changing it to black and white. And then I got a camera that can only do black and white. So
Which camera?
It's a Leica monochrome. Very high contrast coming out there. So it's definitely different than taking a color picture and turning it into black and white. For me, it was just like the reduction to the essence. And the essence is not, I mean, if you're taking pictures of your hands, they all look the same in color. That there's no additional information in the color. It's just everything's there already in black and white.
Instruments that people are playing are marked on their hands. You can clearly, even if you don't know whose hands are those, you can guess what instrument the person plays.
Yes, of course. You see the strings, because usually when we are after sound check, they already played. And then they come off stage, and then we immediately do the hands shooting. And then you saw the marks of the strings in the fingertips. So
yeah, and drummers have always some very certain type of hands and skins that they have. Yeah. And pianists always have very clean, beautiful, like these no marks on it, with short, nice nails and everything.
Well, but I saw different ones, especially from the old jazz people. I got, for example, Carla Bley, which is a very famous composer and piano player. And she was in her 80s when I did pictures of her hands. And you can't really see the arthritis in her hands. But she still played, and she played beautifully. But you really saw life of music in these hands. And now I put that into a book.
Where can we find that book?
The book is only available in the internet. It's not a physical book. It's a website where you can log into. And
the website's name?
The website is hands-project.com.
Okay, go there.
Very easy.
Check the book.
I spent a lot of time in revisiting all the pictures that I did in more than a decade. I think the project is now 12 or 13 years in the making. And I collected more than 250 musicians. And I revisited all the pictures. I went through thousands of concert photos, of course, and selected the nicest ones. So with every picture of hands, you always get like 1, 2, 3 pictures of the musician performing
and
on
a
stage.
Story.
And a story, of course. I got information about who the artist is, what music he makes. So it's more like the description of what you're looking at. And for some artists, not for all of them, but for some artists, I even added personal stories that I got. For example, the first one, which I had from the first shooting with James Stevens, where he just felt that I'm starstruck because he's just great. He's a great person. And I was just really nervous and setting up things and and he just recognized my tension, and he said, "Take your time. It's your projects. Take all the time." He really felt that, and he just told me, "Take your time," and this is what's so important, and
It's precious.
it's precious for everything that came after that. So every time when I was in a shooting and I had this well, there is someone very special in front of you, and you really want to capture it, and you have to do it. Yes, you can do it. It's not a problem, but you have to take your time.
Okay, go to the website.
Hands-project.com.
Let's talk about this instrument that you brought and you built, this modular synthesizer. And could you please tell us more about it?
This is in fact a synthesizer that is made from different components, and I just selected it to be as expressive as possible as a solo voice. I want to have the possibility to play really quiet noises and really blow it up in the end. So in fact, this is like a sweet voice, maybe with a little vibrato. So it reacts on my pressures, and it reacts on this little wheel, which I have here to open. And for me, that wasn't enough to play a concert. I just wanted to have some more depth, some more possibilities to change the sound during when I'm playing. So I added the possibility to change the sound over time. So there are quite a lot of timbres that I can get out of here without affecting the basic noise it makes, the basic sound it makes. And then I wanted the different components. I just wanted to have it like a deep delay effect. I can represent this here. That's maybe. This one builds up over time.
It's quite expressive. It has quite a lot of expression now, comparing it to like
20 years ago, 10 years ago, synthesizers.
I think it's not. No, the technique is the same, but what's different is maybe that we have much more possibilities to put like it on little faders and to have it all accessible. Because I could do the same for my convenience. I put it here on 3 faders. So for example, the easiest to show is when I play a note and I put this fader up, it starts this little vibrato thing. So I can have really clean notes or add this vibrato. I could do the same with fiddling around here and putting some cables differently, and that makes it more complicated. So it wasn't possible to do in a live environment. And at your concert, I want to play this thing in a live environment, which says I need to be able to change all the parameters in real time. For now, I think the spectrum it has from the really soft voice, I can maybe. So this is super soft. And then I can crank it up. It gets more nasal and more aggressive.
Yeah,
And how do you control the volumes?
This has key sensitivity, yeah, it has. So I'm having this very light touch.
And it changes timbre as
Yeah,
well.
but it just only changes two parameters. It changes velocity, so the overall loudness. But there's also a filter going up, which makes this. So you can do many strange things with it, like. Yeah, it's a playground. I selected all these modules and put it together to be as flexible as possible for the live environment.
All these pink and red things, right? How do they connect? And
What we could do, we could build it from the beginning to the end so that you can see how the sound changes from here, where it's generated, to the end, where it goes out to the mixer. Red always is audio, so this is where the sound comes through. Pink is always just like control voltage. Like, for example, if I pull here on this little wheel, it just changes a control. It's not changing the sound, first of all. It could change the sound, of course, in the end, but it's just a control. It's not something that really makes the sound. So red is only where sound comes from. So we take this cable. This is the module that generates a basic sound. And I'll now show you the sound it makes. This in, and let's go to maybe channel 4. So I know this is my channel 4. Now you hear a continuous sound. Oh, sorry. This is the sound it makes without any changes.
right.
But the problem is, I can play it, but it doesn't go away. It just continues noise. And as with a piano, for example, you want the sound to appear when you click the key, and when you loosen it, it should disappear. So the next stage, let's put this off. The next thing, I have to be a little careful to reconnect it again, because otherwise I will get lost in the end. So we go from here to the next module, which is here, this one. This module is a so-called voltage-controlled amplifier. So it amplifies the sound that I put in here and puts it out here amplified or less amplified. And let's use the output into this input. So now you can see it just opens.
It goes away, yeah.
It goes away. So what this module does, it opens up the sound when I hit a key. So then it just amplifies. And if I let the key go, it just closes it again. It doesn't amplify anymore. And what I want now is to have, for example, control what happens when I hit the key, because at this point it's just back, sound is there, sound goes away. What I want, for example, is more like a string attitude, so that it slowly comes in. Or slowly fades out. So I'm controlling the VCA, the voltage-controlled amplifier, to slowly open or to slowly close again. And that's all the magic, how to shape the velocity of the sound. So yeah, I'm back in the setting we had. Now let's go to the next step. We go out of this amplifier, and now we go into a filter. This is a filter. Go here, line up there again. So this filter, as you hear, the sound is muffled. And if I open this filter, it changes its quality. Yeah, like a wah-wah, which is a filter for guitar, usually used for a filter. And depending on how I play with this little knob,
Yeah, it changes real time. You can go.
Yeah, I can
go. You can change. Yeah.
I can change to very muffled sound. Eh?
Yeah, it also seems like it's also getting louder at the same time, no?
This is what I'm doing with my hands. Sorry.
Okay. I get it.
I'm used to play the piano too, so that's okay. We discussed the filter here, and this especially this knob here. What I did is, and now I explain the control voltage. This little knob here, this wheel, has an output here. Here, control Y, and this cable goes here into this filter and controls this knob. So I can do it here, but I can do the same here. So it's much more convenient for me if I play the keyboard to change it here and not always have to find this knob and get the right one, because there are so many. So this is one of the shortcuts I did for me to have a comfortable playing environment where I can find everything that I need in real time on stage. Because when you have all these knobs in front of you, you can easily just hit the wrong, and if you hit the wrong one, then it can go disastrous. And for example, no sound can go out, or the sound can change in a different way, so you get something that you really don't want to hear. Last module, I wanted to have some effect, some delay effect that builds up over time. There it is again, and there you hear already. There's a delay. And this adds another layer of density, of depth to the play, because you can really play with all the expression of what you have from the synthesizer, which goes into the delay, and the delay amplifies it for me in a way, like. Increase the repeats. So it picks up what I played. I can flip it around.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or I can really mess it up.
Yes, that sounds very surrealistic when it goes so many layers. Sci-fi soundtrack.
And that's basically it. Yeah, so, yeah. We should play it together and just try it out. But if you want to try this,
I'm scared of it. What if it bites?
let's try. Come here. I'll show you what to do. So first you just have, like on the piano.
Where is the sound?
It's the filter is still closed, so you can slowly open it up. Now we introduce a little vibrato, because it sounds a little more natural.
Okay, it's this.
Yeah.
And like it gets more.
You can change the rate of
the
it.
frequency. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't sound two notes at the same time, no?
No. It's just monophonic. Yeah.
Also, yeah, it's like for pianists. It's strange. Yeah. I want to play all the notes. like all hands together.
Yeah.
Just go. Oh, that's a good technique.
What's the guitar players always do with their tapping stuff?
No, but you don't have to play it. You just hold it.
They have the same. They pick a note on the fret and then go like. It's the same thing.
And I can touch all of them.
All right, sure. That's a vibrato.
Yeah, that's I remember it.
And the fourth one isn't signed, but the first one.
What it is?
That one isn't signed. That one works.
Oh, okay.
And then you can have this pitch bend, which goes up an octave or down.
Yeah, that's what PM doesn't have. But we can do some like weird stuff.
You can go to microtone, yeah.
Yeah, I like also this guitar technique.
Yeah.
It's like-
So that's really.
This is so amazing, and really thank you for showing this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
How did you manage to record by now 35 albums?
I don't know. It just happened. The albums of my first band don't count because they're not available anymore, and they were in the 90s, so it's years ago. And then I didn't do any music. I didn't do any recording for quite a long time, and I picked it up again. I think maybe 15 years ago or so. And then I started to play a lot of improvised music, and I had a little studio in Germany where I just invited people to join me, and then we just recorded. We let the music happen. So it was intuitive music, and so we had no prepared scripts or prepared songs that we tried to play. We just sat down and tried to communicate with our instruments. And this is my favorite form of playing music because it has so many aspects of meditation and so many aspects of connecting to each other on a whole different level, because you have no words to talk to each other. You just have a conversation with sounds, with rhythms, with chords, with changes, with consonance and dissonance. So everything comes together. And so I just started producing these things. We were just recording albums and albums and albums. And I recorded them all the time. Whatever whatever improvisation we did, I just recorded. And then I revisited these recordings and just cut the nicest parts and released them as an album. So a lot of that stuff just happened, and I was never thinking product. I was always thinking progress, because I never had the intention I need to make albums. I always had the intention I need to play music. And then the music was there, and then okay, do the next thing with it. Work on it and making an album. So it was always process. It was never, okay, I need to make this one to make it happen. Mm-hmm. It just happened. For me, a quite pure form of communication, because this communication isn't about words, about topics. So you can't discuss politics. You can't discuss religion. You can't discuss how bad your day was in terms of my coffee was too cold or whatever. You're talking on a much higher, or if you want to say so, on a much lower level, because you're just talking pure. With a melody or with a certain chord change, you can transport emotions, feelings, pictures in the head of others. You can trigger them. If you play a melody, you can put some intention into it, and it will be received by the other person, and something will happen in their brain. It will form a picture, a feeling, or whatever. So it's a communication, because you're triggering yourself and the others that are attending like a improvisation. You're always triggering the others, and they trigger you. It's a perfect feedback loop. And it's so beautiful, because you're just communicating on very, very low level. So it's universal, but it will not be universal if you, for example, play it to some alien, because the alien may have some other perception of sound at all, because it lives in a different set of air pressure and doesn't perceive sound as or play it to the fish, for example, underwater. It's how you perceive how do you perceive music underwater? It's completely different.
Yeah, you can hear it. So
You can hear it, but it's different. It's completely different because some frequencies are enhanced, some are getting back, some are more filtered, and it changes. Music changes also in the setting where you are. Some years ago, I was giving a seminar in Holland, and I was talking about exactly this thing. That my point was that the whole universe is music. So I was expanding it from our little planet that we are living on, because everything is frequency. Everything is somehow entwined, and you can even, if you, for example, take the rotation of the planets, they're all doing a waveform, like a sinus wave, or if it's an elliptical form around the planet, then you have a different form of sinus. It's a slightly bent one. So in a different form of perception, if you would have the ears to really listen to these very slow frequencies, you would hear something. And I think this is just a whole opera going on.
yeah,
The whole
if you could
universe-
speed it up,
Yeah, the whole
you could
thing.
hear how it sounds.
Yeah, if you speed it up, then you could make it available to our senses. But if you have different senses, you could maybe listen to it. You could maybe perceive it. So maybe there are other life forms that perceive the whole thing on a completely different level. And I'm quite sure that there is much more sense in the chaos that it appears to us. We're just little life forms, and we just get a very small part of the whole picture because we're so limited in our senses and in our perception. So if you could open up and experience the whole thing, I think it would be mind-blowing.
Yeah, so with some aliens living in a much lower time, they might hear it.
For example.
I know that you are doing these gatherings of musicians
Yes.
where everyone can exchange ideas and grow musically and collaborate.
Okay. So the whole thing is called CCAM, called Creative Circle of Algarve Musicians. Yeah, so the idea is to get the musicians of the Algarve together, because I know there are many very skilled artists and skilled musicians here, and they do all their own thing, but usually they don't know about each other. So what I found is that the artists are not interconnected here, and they're not in contact and not in discussion. And so I think it was 2 years ago where I started the Creative Circle of Algarve Musicians to just meet at my place and to talk about what they're doing, to introduce the others to their creations, to show off, for example, a piece they're working on, or to play something together, or to talk about topics they're currently thinking about or concerned about. So I know that I remember on the first meeting we talked about the value of music, and that it's so hard to get paid for creating music, and to get how to get back the value to the music. So that was one topic, and it's just nice to be in discussion with like-minded people.
Yeah, and from there I would like to transition actually to your studio services.
Basically, I have a small studio. It's not really big, but it's big enough to record a band with 4 or 5 persons. And I'm offering basically everything from recording to editing to mixing to the whole production of music. And in fact, I can do everything to put out a CD in the end. I can even do the artwork services and do the cover or do the photography or whatever. So it's a full service thing.
As a session musician, you can record some parts as well, right?
If that's wanted, I can also add piano, I could add bass guitar, I could add things.
A stick?
Yeah. Chapman stick.
So it's in Algarve in Lagos, and if you're around and you need to record your album or track or get some tracks recorded, just there is Marc. Yes, I'll get all your contacts in the description for
That
the
would be
video,
nice, yeah.
and anyone who wants can contact you. By the way, when I was looking at your albums and everything, of course, I liked the one that is with no piano, right? No piano music.
No piano music, yeah.
Yeah, where you were on the cover, very interesting that you're sitting with no piano there. In the position that you're playing piano, but with no piano.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that project a little bit?
I tell you
a few
about the
words?
picture first, because the picture is done by a friend of mine, Hajo Müller. He's a very great German photographer for the music scene. And he did a project that is quite similar to my Hands project that we talked earlier. He does portraits of the musicians without their instruments in playing position.
Okay.
So it's not only the hands, but he wants the whole musician. So a pianist is sitting like a pianist in front of his piano and playing there. Or a guitar player is like holding his guitar, but he captures the whole musician. I can send you the link too, so you can
Share,
put that
yeah.
in the description and share, because it's a nice project too. And he photographed me for his project. And because I like the picture so much, I asked him if I can use it for the cover, because it just fits so nicely to the title of the album, which is No Piano Music. And it's called No Piano Music because it's music made with the piano but not played. So I started to record the piano, record fragments of playing, and then send it into a computer, fragmented it, and cut it into little pieces, and then programmed some Max devices in Max for Live. Oh, is it Max for Live? It's a part of Ableton. So I programmed a generative component that could react to my playing of keyboard. So I played a keyboard, and it made some piano sounds, but it was also fed to the computer, which was responding and working with the material I just gave it.
I see.
And played something in return. So I made a feedback loop that inspires me with something, gives me feedback, and then I can play again.
Oh.
So the whole album is like a call and response with a computer program. And the sound is all about everything that you can get out of a piano. Like not only playing on the keys, also playing on the strings, playing inside the piano, tapping on it, doing whatever. So there are many sounds, but it's everything piano basically. And because I never really played it in the way of playing a track and recording the track on the piano, it's no piano music.
Yeah, that was awesome idea.
We just finished the new Peyoti album that will maybe come out, I think, in May this year. Check it out then. But
Peyoti is gonna
we'll do it
be in
later.
our next episode as well.
Yeah, what we did there, and it was a nice production. We almost ran it for 1.5 years, so there's a lot of work in there. But it's nice, and it will be released. So he will tell us.
So
things.
you also played on the album, or you just only
I
produced?
played some stuff there. I added some keyboard parts and organ, but mostly I was generating sounds with him and generating the ambient of the album. So he did a lot of puzzling the pieces together. But we had many sessions at my studio where we just generated sounds, made noises, made things that will end up in the album, recorded the vocals, added all the little bits that you need to make it interesting. And it's so in the end it's a big collage of things, and it's not singer-songwriter stuff. It's something of its own. So you have to listen to it. Maybe you get the permission from Peyoti
to listen before release.
Something, to play something before.
Oh, wow.
Just a fragment or so. We have to ask him.
Yeah, sounds very, very exciting.
And then we can pretend we can sit now here for a minute and listen.
You can be what you want to. You can be what you want to be.
Thank you, Peyoti.
Yes, wonderful. The other project that has an interesting concept is meditative music for musicians.
Oh yes. Oh, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, but the concept is quite interesting because, of course, it irritates every musician who listens at
Yeah,
those
I
long
mean, we're so-
sounds forever.
Yeah, we're so turned on.
Yeah.
Our ears are so used to analyze in every moment. So if you listen to music, or if their sound comes to an ear of a musician, he starts to analyze. And it's so hard to switch this analyzing mode off. So I always had the problem when I was listening to meditative music that it bores me to hell. It's just so... The instrumentation is boring, the sounds are cheap, the melodies are just, oh, come on, don't do this. So I really had problems with that. And so I invented something that I could listen to. So something that does not distract me and has musical elements that don't get me out of my meditation state. So I almost completely got rid of melodies, and I just got long notes and
Drones, yeah.
drone notes. Even for the melodies, it's like drones. It's like it's changing, yes, but it's not a real melody that you're perceiving. And yeah, for me it works. I don't know if it works for anyone else. I know some other people that listened to the record and found it alienating. Some people found it strange, not
Musicians?
No, not musicians.
Ah, so it's for musicians. You gotta give it to musicians to listen.
Yeah, I gave it to musicians, and there I
Yes.
got some positive results. There I
That's
really
it,
got
that's
people
it.
that really got the concept and that said, yes, okay, this is working for me in a way.
Right?
Okay.
You made so many applications and you keep making them. And the recent one that you made with for guitarists, right? To study
FretBoard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that Schumann frequencies thing that shows you right away on the... I still don't know how to apply this knowledge. Where do I apply this?
Yeah, so which one do we start with? Let's start with the music one.
Yeah, let's start with the music.
So
please.
the basic, the application is quite old. It was around already when there was the Palm Pilot handheld.
And where we
which
get
is- it's in the App Store and in the Google App Store too. So you get it on both devices. But the original one is 20 years old, I think. And I got the code from the programmer that did the very original, the first version. But it's far more sophisticated now, of course, because I added a lot of stuff. In fact, it's visualizing scales and chords on the fretboard of any stringed instrument. So the tuning of the instrument, if you have a guitar, the standard tuning, or drop D tuning, or an open tuning, or whatever, doesn't matter. You have the tuning, and you can apply a certain the scale on top of it. So the dots always appear on the fretboard in the right positions. And this is quite interesting for people who try to, for example, have learned guitar and then switch to an open tuning and want to see, okay, what does it change for me? How do the fingerings change? Where can I find this chord? Or you can just see if you can find other voicings of the same chord by just looking at the shape of how the dots are distributed on the fretboard. So this was the basic idea.
Quite useful.
It's super useful.
And also for who starts learning also, it's very useful as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of theory in there that you, first of all, don't have to worry about because it's just there. And but you have all the modal modes in there and all the jazz scales and some Asian scales and some whatever. So it's packed with stuff. And you can just select and from the easy stuff, or you can go to the more sophisticated stuff, and it's all there.
Yeah.
Have a look.
Have a look, guys.
And the other program is Earthbeat, which is about the Schumann Resonance, which is measured in Russia, in Tomsk. And there's another measuring point in Cumiana in Italy. The basic idea is that just the whole Earth has a resonance. And it's a resonance of 7.83 hertz, usually. And this resonance is caused by lightning discharge all around the globe. And we are exposed to this resonance. The human, every biological entity on this planet is exposed to this frequency, of course, because it's everywhere. And so some people believe that changings in these frequency could affect people. So some people claim that they feel dizzy if the frequency goes a little more up, or that they feel quite energyless if the frequency goes down, or whatever. What I did is I'm getting the results from the measurements in Tomsk in Russia and in Cumiana in Italy. And I just show the graphs to have them easily available on your smartphone. So you can put it in a widget or just show it in the app. So whenever you have a feeling sensation, you can check against what is the current measurement.
So
of the
you know
Schumann
who to
resonance.
blame.
I always know, okay, this is...
Oh, that's because of that.
Yeah, so I
Right,
think
right.
I can relate my
Yes.
the quality of my sleeping to it, but that's, I think, so far the only thing that I feel for myself. But
Yeah.
everyone is different, and everyone has another perception. So yeah, could be that other people are affected more or affected less. So for me, it's how I sleep. It's just one of many data points. So for me, it's just you can relate to the Schumann resonance, but you can also look at the quality of your air in your sleeping room, or you can measure how is the temperature change in the region you are living, or what is the humidity. So there are so many things you can watch and observe and,
Yeah,
and
it's
see
not
what
only
it
one
does with you.
thing, yes,
It's not
of
only
course.
that thing.
So tell us, what is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life is to enjoy where we are in. I mean, what is life? Before we're talking about the meaning of life, we should talk about what is life. Is this reality we are living in, or is this just a simulation?
That's a problem for some. For some people, it doesn't matter if it's reality or simulation. They feel same bad.
That's
No.
true. That's true.
So
But I think it's easier to bear with this life when you know it's just a simulation. When I'm driving with my car, it's a super
Okay.
funny thing.
Okay, please.
Because my daughter came up with it. When I'm driving in my car, and then one of these food taxis is coming,
Very fast.
overtaking, what they're named, with the green boxes
Uber.
and the
No,
Uber
it's
Eats, yeah,
Uber Eats, yeah.
and they come past me by and go like just between the cars, and it's really mad what they're doing with their bikes. And my daughter always refers to them with the term NPC.
It's a game term, right?
It's a
From
game
games.
term, yeah. It's the term for non-playable character.
Yeah, they are just there to make
it's like
surroundings.
when you're playing Mario Kart alone, then the other characters they're going. So they don't have any life. They are just there in the simulation and are to enjoy to give more joy to what you're doing.
I see.
Yeah. So this is the meaning of life: to enjoy everything that is given to you, the experience.
Good point. Wonderful. Thank you for being here and
Thanks for
like
having
showing
me.
so many things and sharing this conversation about so many topics, including
I
aliens
enjoyed it very much. It was
and
very fun.
simulation and everything else. And thank you for sharing your talents.
Thanks so much for
Yes.
having me.
So see you next time.
Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.